Mm, mm.
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What is up? What is up? What is up, people? This is Big B from Big B Daily Show. Thank you guys for joining in today, man. Monday through Friday, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. What is going on, man? Big football weekend coming up. Big football weekend coming up. But as always, TikTok, thank you guys for joining, man. Please give me a follow. Tap the screen. We're looking for 3,500 likes, 30 follows, and then come on over to YouTube, man. Click the link in the bio. Subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube. Tap the screen, and boom, subscribe. Join the chat. I'll put your question up or your statement, good or bad, and I'll make fun of you more than likely if it's bad. And we'll have some fun, man. So let's get into this today. Last night, Thursday night football, man. I thought the Lions would win, but I didn't think they would just whip Green Bay. What did y'all think? Did y'all think they were just going to blow out Green Bay? It was about 50-50 in here yesterday when we were talking about who would win, and it was about 50-50. It was split, but nobody said it was going to be a blowout. And that was a blowout. It was just a blowout. And look, I know at the beginning of the year, I said Packers weren't going to be great. We're 4 games in. You're 500. So I don't know. I like the Lions, but bottom line is, who knows? Who knows? I think the Lions are going to go on a streak here. I think the Lions are going to win maybe 5 or 6, something like that. And already they already have the division under control. They already have the division under control. I think they go, like I said, win 5 or 6 games and really put it on people. Really put it on people. So, yeah, the game last night was not too entertaining, man. I thought it could have been better. So, Lions are just better. Offensive line, woo! They just rolled over Green Bay. You knew Detroit had a good offensive line, or not Green Bay, but Detroit had a good offensive line. But man, steamrolled them. So let's move on, man. Chandler Jones saga. What is going on? Now let's talk about it, man. What is going on? We talked about it the last couple weeks. Chandler Jones, man. I don't know. This is bad. This is bad. I got a feeling something bad. I said the same thing last week. Well, now he got arrested, breaking a domestic violence order or protection order. I just, man, this is not going to end good. Somebody needs to go and just help him. Somebody needs to go help him. I don't know. It's crazy. Somebody needs to go help that man. And it looks like the Raiders have just thrown their hands up and won't do anything. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel bad for the situation. Again, we don't know everything that's going on. I just know if they had to take him by the fire department last week, had to come to his house, sedate him, take him to a hospital, there's something going on. Somebody needs to take his phone away so he can't post Instagram posts and Twitter. That somebody needs to help him. He's got 2 other brothers. Somebody needs to go and help this man. Somebody. I don't know. I think it's bad. Yeah, somebody TikTok. You're right, man. Mark Davis needs to do something to help him. Clearly, he's lashing out. Clearly, he's mad. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But man, more importantly, thank you again, you guys, for joining Big B Daily Show, man. I appreciate it. Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time. Thank you guys for coming in. Everybody, we're live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining. And anybody that's on TikTok, man, come on over to YouTube. Click the link in the bio. First off, follow me on TikTok, and then click the link in the bio, man. Come over to YouTube chat. Better, better, better. But let's move on, man. So some of these college games, let's get the Big B bets. Last week, Notre Dame, they effed us. Freaking Notre Dame. We could have had a 4-2 weekend. We picked 6 games a week. Instead, we go 3-2-1 because Notre Dame on fourth down, they can't stop them on fourth down. On 3rd and 18, they give up a first down playing cover 4. I'm like, what are you doing? And then at the end of the game, 2 plays in a row, you decide, we're only going to play with 10 guys. We're only going to play with 10 guys from the inch line. Oh, my gosh. Just horrible. Horrible. And what are you going to do? And what are you going to do? So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But this week, we'll do better. This week, we'll do better. First game tonight. Utah at Oregon State, man. Utah's undefeated. Oregon State is at home favored -4. I like Oregon State. Oregon State's going to be way too physical for them, man. They're going to be way too physical. And Utah can't score points. Cam Rising, even if Cam Rising comes back, which I don't think he's coming back for this game, but even if he does, he's not going to be 100%. I think Oregon State gets after him and they win the game. I like Oregon State -4. Now, look, here's the game everybody, well, I shouldn't say everybody's talking about. USC, Colorado. We picked Colorado last week to not win the game, but to cover. I'm doing it again. I think they cover. +21.5 at home? Of course. I'm taking it. Because I think, again, USC is going to win the game. USC is going to win this football game. They're going to put it on them. But again, I think Colorado, they hang around. USC's defense is not near as good. They'll score some points. They're at home. And they'll get a late touchdown to cover. Now, Colorado got that late touchdown last week. The problem is they were getting their head beat in already. It's even at Christmas. So it didn't matter. But USC is going to win. They're going to win. I don't know that it's necessarily even going to be close. I'm taking the chances. I like Colorado again to cover. Give me +21.5 at home. Now, here's a game, Florida, Kentucky. Look, I don't even think Florida should be ranked. They beat a overrated Tennessee team who has no business being ranked. They blew them out. But Kentucky's going to win the game. Kentucky's going to beat Florida. It's -1 at home. Y'all know me. I hate all things Kentucky, but they're going to beat Florida because Florida's not any good. They're not any good. They got ranked because they beat an overrated Tennessee. And now Kentucky's going to beat them. Florida will drop out. Kentucky will move in. The whole SEC thing, we could go on and on. I don't want to do it. Now, here's one. Kansas at Texas. Kansas at Texas. Kansas +16.5. I like it. Look, Kansas can score points. And they're going to score points. Now, Texas is better. Texas is going to win the football game. But I'm just telling you right now, Kansas is going to keep it closer than what a lot of people think. I like Kansas +16.5. LSU versus a really overrated Ole Miss. If LSU's the team that we think that they are, and hopefully they are, they're going to blow out Ole Miss. It's LSU minus 2.5. I like LSU in this one. I don't think Ole Miss has any business being ranked. And if LSU, like I said, if they're the team that we think they are, I don't think this game is close. I don't think it's close. I like LSU in a blowout. In a blowout. And if it isn't a blowout, then LSU is not as good as what we thought. And then lastly, Notre Dame and Duke. Who in the hell would have thought that Notre Dame at Duke would have been a game day anything when it comes to football? You would think basketball, if anything. Jiminy Christmas. Game day going to Durham. Notre Dame showing up. Both teams ranked. But I like Notre Dame minus 5.5. I think Notre Dame is mad from last week. I think they're going to line up and just run over Duke. I think they're going to physically whip Duke. That's what I think is going to happen. I just think their offensive line is too strong and they're physically going to beat them up. Just physically going to beat them up. Let me look on TikTok. Yep. Duke's program's coming together. Duke's program is coming together, but they're not going to be able to win that game. They're not going to be able to win that game. So a lot of people like the Buffs. And man, Colorado's not winning against USC, man. That's not happening. That's not happening. I wish it would. Don't get me wrong. I'm one of those people call us bandwagon. I want Colorado to win. I want them to do well. I love how they're changing how college football is being done. But this is not a good week for that. This is not a good week for that. Not a good week at all. They're going to get whipped. They're going to get whipped. But they'll cover. They'll cover. Let's move on, man. Let's move on. So, a lot of NFL games, man. A lot of NFL games this weekend. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of them, the same amount. A lot of interesting NFL games. And I got a lot of favorites that I'm looking at this week. First off, the Steelers minus 2.5 at the Texans. The Steelers are winning. You know that's happening. That's happening. So I like it. So I like it. Steelers defense will get after the Texans. Steelers defense will get after the Texans. So, and then let's see. The Falcons. Nope. I like the Jags minus 3. I like the Jags minus 3. What's that? Is the game in London or is it in Germany? Or Berlin? I think it's in Berlin, but I'm not sure. It's over there somewhere. But either way, I like the Jags minus 3. Look, Chiefs are going to blow out the Jets. It's minus 9. That's usually a lot for an NFL game. It won't be for this one. We can get through those. Now, here's a good one. Bills at Dolphins. Bills are minus 3 at home. I like it. I like it. I think the Bills got embarrassed opening weekend against the Jets. And I think the Bills are out for revenge to show that they're one of the better teams in football. I still think they are. Dolphins coming off of 70 points. I just think the Bills win. I think the Bills win. I think it'll be a close game, but I think the Bills win by 4. I like the Bills. Then the Super Bowl. The best game in the history of the NFL is the Broncos against the Bears. The Broncos against the Bears. We've been waiting for this all season. I don't know why it's not on Monday night. The best game of the season, the Broncos versus the Bears. And I like the Bears. I'm taking the Bears. I mean, I don't know why. Because the Bears' offense stinks. Their defense stinks. Their coaching stinks. I just think they put it together. I think it's more of I'm rooting for karma against Sean Payton. Because Sean Payton gets on my nerves. He acts like he's God's gift to coaching, and he's not. Give me the Bears plus 3. Give me the Bears plus 3. I also like the Ravens over the Browns. I like the Ravens plus 1.5. I think they get it done on the road. I think they're going to be embarrassed from last week. They're going to get embarrassed from last week. Losing to the Colts. So I like the Ravens +1. And then the Bengals -2. Look, I don't know what the Titans got. They got 3 quarterbacks that are all bad. Derrick Henry looks like he's finished. DeAndre Hopkins looks like he's finished. And they still got a good defense, but the Bengals will be able, they'll have enough to score enough because the Titans can't score. The Bengals -2.5. Do. Rams, pick'em game at the Colts. I'm taking the Rams. I know a lot of people like the Colts. They won a good game last week. I think it was fool's gold. I like the Rams on the road. Give me the Saints over the Bucks -3. The Saints are starting to come, or not the Saints. The Bucks are coming back down to earth. I don't know if Derek Carr is going to play, but 30 for 30. I think 30 for 30 is going to have himself a good game. I think 30 for 30 Winston is going to have himself a day. I like the Saints -3. Look, Commanders at Eagles. The Eagles will win, but I'm going to put my faith at +9. Look, that's a ridiculous amount of points for an NFL team to lose by. I like Commanders to cover. I like the Eagles to win. Vikings at Panthers. Give me the Vikings -4. They're scoring. They're moving the football on everybody. Bryce Young coming off injury, still not playing great. I like the Vikings. Chargers over the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders have much left. They're starting to implode. +5. Give me not +5, -5 with the Chargers. Give me that. Cowboys -6.5 over the Patriots. I like that. I think the Cowboys get something going. So, they got embarrassed last week. Let's just call it what it is. Cowboys got embarrassed last week. Run all over. I don't think they let that happen 2 weeks in a row. I think they get something going. First game of the year. You know, Dak is only good for about 4 or 5 good games a year. This will be one of those games that Dak plays well. He's only good for about 4 or 5. This will be one that he plays well. 6.5, -6.5. I like the Cowboys. And then here's another one. Just total disrespect. 49ers -14 over the Cardinals, but I like it. That was absolute fool's gold by the Cardinals last week. This one will be a blowout. This will be an absolute blowout. And then finally on Monday night, give me the Seahawks. The Seahawks over the Giants. Look, the Giants don't have much. I like the Seahawks -1.5. I like the Seahawks -1.5. So there's the Big B bets for you, man. Again, thank you guys for joining Big B Daily. Again, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time, man. Thank you guys for joining over on TikTok. Again, man, looking for 3,500 likes, 30 follows. So if you're in and you're not following, give me a follow. More importantly, click the link in the bio, man, and go subscribe to Big B Sports Talk and join the chat over on YouTube. So let's get into some Q&A, man. Let's start at the top over here on YouTube and see what we got. My man Joe Q. What's up, Big B? Do you think Arizona is going to upset Washington on Saturday? No. I think Arizona's doing a hell of a job this year. But they're not going to be. Washington's too good. Washington is just too good for Arizona. They're going to score way too many points. Arizona won't be able to score that many points. So while I like it, too many points. My man, Buddy Claybon. Detroit is too strong in the trenches. Yeah. Detroit is really good in the trenches, man. They're tough. They are tough. I mean, they put it on display last night. They just ran over the Packers. David Montgomery looked good. Yes, he did. Can't believe the Bears let him go. But it's the Bears. Yeah, you can. You can believe the Bears let him go. It's the Bears. The Bears franchise is despicable. Ooh, good question over here on TikTok. Syracuse or Clemson? The games in Syracuse, I like Syracuse. I like Syracuse, man. So I like Syracuse. I just think Clemson is on a downhill spiral. Dabo coming out today talking about their 2 or 3 plays from being 4-0. Man, if he doesn't shut up, just shut up, Dabo. Just shut up. Embrace the transfer portal. If you embrace the transfer portal, you'd have guys and you'd be 4-0. Instead, you didn't. And now here's where you are. Shut up. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Yeah, the Lions, man. I like the Lions. They played good. Why doesn't anybody want to talk about the Steelers? The Steelers are good. We're going to win, and we'll be 3-1 on the season. Don't be jealous of the Steelers. Don't be jealous, TikTok, of the Steelers. Stop it. Blade Watchers over here on YouTube had the honor of recording with Khaled in Los Angeles, and we spoke some sports. He mentioned you in the studio a few days ago. Great show you have here. Well, I appreciate that, man. Who is that? I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is, but I appreciate it. I do my best, man. I'm doing my best. We've been at this about 5 weeks now. We've been at this for 5 weeks, me and my partner, my producer, one of my best friends in the world. We've been doing this for about 5 weeks, man. We have grown. I appreciate y'all's support. Spread the word, pass it along, let your friends know, all that good stuff, man. All that good stuff. So, let's see what else we got. Now, here's a guy I've known for for 40 years, over 40 years. He read Antonio Brown was headed to talk to Jones. Not sure that's the answer. I mean, if Antonio Brown is the answer to talking to Chandler Jones, then everybody needs to make peace with their loved ones, make peace with their life, because the world is coming to an end. Just make peace. If he is truly the absolute answer, then everybody needs to just make peace with what they've done, because the world is ending. That's happening. That's happening. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Antonio Brown is not going to go talk to him, because he very well may be. But if you're going to try to tell me that he's the best person to go have a conversation, yep, we need to just make peace with our life, what we've done, and understand that any minute now, any minute, the world's coming to an end. Because that couldn't be the worst person to take advice from, or to think that they should give advice to somebody. There's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at with it. Why would Antonio Brown think that he's the person that should go give somebody advice on anything? On anything. I don't care if it's football related or not. He's not that guy. Whew. Whew. Man. Your thoughts on current issues going on with both Oregon State and Washington State, and the possibility of the Mountain West teams jumping to the Pac-2 in order to save the Pac-12 brand name? It's a great question, Joe. I think Oregon State and Washington State are getting a job. Now, look, Oregon State is a good football team, and all of this is driven by football. All of this is all driven by football. First it's money, and then football. What can you bring? And unfortunately, both of them are just happen to be in places that don't bring anything. Now, people have always come to me and said, well, hey, Brian, you went to Kansas State. Kansas State's in the middle of Kansas. And yeah, it is. But there's also Wichita and Topeka, and Kansas City's not that far away. And they're good in football. Sorry. They got really good facilities. Sorry. And the Big 12 had a commissioner that was, I don't know, forward thinking and didn't just wait, kept the conference together. Sorry. And that's just the way it is. Because Kansas State, Kansas State fans are pretty scary. That's a good word. They're scary. And they thought that they were getting left out no matter what. They thought Kansas was going to the Big 10 and that we were going to get left out in the cold because the Big 12 was going to be gone. Well, that didn't happen. That did not happen. So a lot of people just stuck around. They put their heads together and said, nope, we got a good Midwestern conference. Let's build on it. They did, and it's there. I think Oregon State and Washington State are getting left out in the cold. I think it sucks, but I mean, somebody was going to get left out. Life ain't fair. Life ain't fair. And bringing the Mountain West teams over to save it, that's fine if that's what you want to do. They're going to lose Power 5 status, though. And they should. They should. You know, it just the way it is, unfortunately. Like I said, it could have easily been Kansas State that got left out. Easily. It just wasn't. It just wasn't. We put ourselves in a position to not. So, do I see Auburn beating Georgia? No. Auburn can't score enough points to beat Georgia. Auburn's offense is horrible. So, no, they're not beating Georgia. They're not beating Georgia. And I believe this will be a game that Georgia sleepwalks through. So, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But Auburn can't beat them. They can't beat them. They just can't beat them. Hopefully, U of L doesn't overlook NC State tonight, heading to the Notre Dame game next week. Take the L. Go Cards. Man, I've been trying to get that across to U of L fans all week. Stop looking forward to Notre Dame. When's the last time we won at NC State, man? It's going to be a tough game tonight. We're going to have to fight, crawl, scratch to win. But I think we can do it. I think we can do it. So, but yes, they can't overlook him. Cannot overlook him. Not at all. My man, Buddy Claiborne, NC State will beat the brakes off of U of L. See, now that's a guy. Now, if y'all didn't know, this Buddy Claiborne guy, I don't like him. Don't like him at all. He's always talking trash. He doesn't know football. He wants to know football. He's learning football, but he doesn't know it. But it's not really his fault. It's more his father's fault. I know his father. His father's crazy. So it's not, don't blame him. I don't blame him. But saying stuff like this is only going to make me mad. Only going to make me mad. Tick tock. What do we got over here? I thought Charlie Strong should have stayed at Louisville. Yeah, he should have. Heck yeah, he should have. And if you ask him right now, he's going to tell you, yeah, I should have. Because he's never going to be a head coach again. And he would still be the head coach at Louisville right now. Thanks, Matthew. I appreciate it, man. OU Sooners all the way. Oklahoma's got to learn to score some more points. I think Oklahoma's got to learn to score some more points. I like OU, but they got to score more points. They got to score more points for me. Ravens are pretty solid. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. So again, TikTok, man, we hit the goal of likes. Let's bump it up to 5,000. Still need some more followers. So if you're in here and you're not following, please do. All right. YouTube. Chat is going. Let's see what we got. Somebody says the Broncos by 30 over the Browns. Look, the Browns and the Bears, isn't that the game we all been waiting on? The Browns and the Bears. That's the game that everybody's been waiting on. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't flex this game to Sunday night, take off the Chiefs and the Jets, throw Broncos Bears on there. I mean, it's the game we've all been waiting for. Broncos and Bears. Man, the Broncos, and they're so bad. Both of them are so bad, but I'm going with the Bears. I'm taking the Bears. I don't even know why either. Hey, what's up, man? What's going on? I have no idea why I'm taking the Bears, but I'm taking the Bears. +3 at home. Give me the Bears to win it. Ugh. Ugly game. Ugly game. Bradley Rice, thanks for joining the chat, man. Chargers implode against the Raiders. They'll still win, but the Raiders will at least be in the game. I think so too. Is because now the Raiders are falling apart, but the Chargers have the worst coach in football, Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley is horrendous. A horrendous football coach. So it's terrible. It's terrible. All that talent, and they can't figure it out. Coach getting in the way. I feel bad. I feel bad. Steelers taking an L to the Texans. See, that there's more people trying to get on my nerves. Why do y'all do this to me? I don't bother anybody. I'm nice. And yet here we are blasting my Steelers. Don't do it. Don't do it. Steelers are winning, man. The Steelers are winning the game. The Steelers are winning the game. Here's my man Austin. What's going on, man? Steelers, Texans at 1 are the exact games the Steelers play down to their competition in. You're right. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. But I think the defense gets after them. We get some turnovers. I think this is a game the Steelers put their foot down, actually. I think this is a game the Steelers put their foot down. They'll be able to run it. I think Pickens is going to have 2 touchdowns, 2 long touchdown catches. I just believe. I just believe. Do. Steelers will lose to the Texans. See, that's just jealousy. Just because we smashed your Raiders doesn't mean anything. That's just jealousy. The Broncos are garbage. Kaiser's in here. Kaiser. Now, that's a man's man right there. Buddy Claiborne doesn't know much. But my man Kaiser, he knows a little something about football. I like him. I like him. Let's see. My man Wakan. I know the Lions wide receivers are doing great, but I can't wait to see Jameson Williams back on the field. And he's coming back earlier. He's coming back next week. NFL made a change to the gambling rule, which I think is great. They made a change to it today, or it came out today, that if you gambled on if you gambled on things that were not your team, they reduced your suspension. Which is good. So they'll both be back. Him and that tackle from the Titans, they'll be able to come back next week. And that's going to open up so many more things for Detroit because he can stretch the field. Oof. And contrary to popular belief, Goff has enough arm to get the ball down the field like that. So, April H. Which undefeated college teams lose this weekend? Now, I know this April H. lady. I know her. She's nice. She's a nice woman. That's a good question. One of them, I think, is Duke. Duke is going to lose. Utah is going to lose tonight against Oregon State. Those would be the 2 that I think lose. Those would be the thing that I think Duke to Notre Dame, and tonight Utah loses to Oregon State. If the 12-team college playoff were to take place this year, what teams would make it in and what teams would win it if every game was played at a neutral site? That's a great question, Joe. You know what? I don't know exactly who would make it in yet. I know Notre Dame would be a team. Ohio State. One thing, Big 12 or Big 10 would get 3 teams. Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. They would all be in. Throw Notre Dame in there. Florida State would be in. That's 5. SEC. Now that's where my problem is going to come in. Because a lot of people are going to say 4 or 5 SEC teams. No. I think as of now, Georgia, and then maybe LSU or Alabama, but not both. Not both. I'm not giving them both. So let the season play out because they play each other. The winner, you can get in. But don't talk to me about Florida, Tennessee, Ole Miss. No. Miami might get in. I might throw Miami in there. If it had to end right now, Miami. But then you got out Pac-12, man. I mean, you got Texas. I don't know that and maybe OU. Yeah, maybe OU. But you got to put at least 4 Pac-12 teams in, don't you? I mean, you got to put USC. You got to have them in. And Washington, Utah. You got to have them in. And then probably Washington State. So that's who or Oregon. So maybe 5. So you got to have them in, don't you? If we're talking about if it ended today, you got to have them in. But let the season play out a little bit. It's still early. We got to let the season play out a little bit. Conference play literally just started. So let it play. That's a great question, though, Joe. Great question. Not even good. That's a great question. See, now these are comments right here is why this April H lady gets on my nerves. Hurt people. See, I don't need that. We don't need that in our live. We don't need that in the Big B Daily Show. And if you continue to put stuff like that, I'm going to block you, April H. I'm going to block you. I can't have that. I'm going to block you. Let's see. What do we got over here on TikTok, man? Browns versus Ravens. Who wins? The Ravens. Give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens. I like it. And again, as a reminder, Big B Daily Show, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time. Please come and join us. We're live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube. Come and join the live. Come and join. TikTok. We're getting there. We're getting close to 6,000. Still need more followers. So if you're in here and not following, give me a follow. The Browns set themselves apart with a win. Well, who do they set themselves apart from? Like, who will the Browns set themselves apart from? Because the Steelers are going to beat the Texans, and the Browns, let's just say the Browns luck up and beat the Ravens. They'll have the same record. Well, guess who owns that tiebreaker? Guess who owns that tiebreaker? Oops. So, yeah, they're not setting themselves apart from anybody. They'll have the same record, but somebody owns a tiebreaker over them because they beat them. I'll move on. Look, I don't want to be petty. Y'all know I'm petty. I'm the king of petty. But I don't want to do that today. So I'm going to move on. Just move on. Bears will win if there is a tsunami, like when they beat the 49ers. You might be right. That might be what it takes for the Bears to win. You might be right. That's brutal. But I love it. I love the statement. I would argue the coach opposite sideline of Staley's is actually the worst coach in the NFL. No, he's not. And McDaniels is bad. But he's not worse than Staley. Nope. Nobody's worse than Staley. All that analytical nerd football. I mean, last week, it told me we should have run. First of all, here's the thing. You go for it on your own 24-yard line, which is ignorant at best. But then you run the ball, and you haven't been able to run the ball all season. And then so you run the ball with a fullback that a tailback, you moved up the fullback to try to trick them versus using your quarterback who only had 4 incompletions. You didn't let Herbert make the play for you that you just paid $200 million. Nope, you don't want to do that. You want to run it behind a line that can't run block. That's why Staley's horrible. Not to mention Minnesota had no timeouts, punt the football, make them drive it to try to beat you. And then Minnesota gagged it at the end anyway, but Jiminy Christmas. Nobody's worse. My Lions plus 200 rushing at Lambeau. Yeah, we hit that earlier. You're 100% right. 100% right. Ooh, good baseball question here. Can the Dodgers win it all? I don't know. I don't know if the Dodgers can win it all, man. I don't know. The Braves are so good. The Braves are so good. And that pains me to say because y'all know that I'm a diehard Mets fan. But the Braves are so good. But we'll see. I don't know if the Dodgers got enough pitching. I don't know. I don't know. Doo-doo. But the Braves are just, I think they're just too good for everybody. Everybody. But we'll see. I hate to say it, but I think USC smokes Colorado just like I said Oregon would. USC 24 plus. Man. And if that happens, does Colorado enter fraud status? Ooh, spicy. Let's talk about that, people. So if Colorado gets the brakes beat off of them again, does that make them a fraud? I don't think so, because I never thought Colorado was going to be very good anyway. So I don't think it makes them a fraud, but there's going to be a lot of people that say they're a fraud. Because people that know football understand that Colorado hasn't beaten anybody that was really good. Their offensive line is atrocious. Their defensive line is worse than that. They got about 8 to 12 good players on their entire team. Their top 44 is bad. Just doesn't have good quality depth yet. So people that understand that knew that Colorado wasn't going to be good. I said all along that if they won 6 games, Deion should be coach of the year. Well, then they start off 3-0 and everybody's like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, hold on, man. TCU's not that good. Look, I follow the conference. K-State plays in the Big 12. I knew what they lost. And for Colorado to win, they had to play the perfect game. And guess what? They did. But I don't know. There are going to be a lot of people that say that Colorado's a fraud after that. That's a good statement. Good question. But I don't think so. I just don't think they were that good anyway. Huh. SH Junior High cheer. April H is my favorite. Yeah, I don't know who that is exactly. April H is not my favorite. She's not my favorite. And here we go again. April H is the best. What is it? What is with you people? What is with you people? Okay? Yeah, she made a comment. Oh well. Hey, I don't like it. I'm not even going to acknowledge any more of this. It's starting to get on my nerves. Browns take the next step with a win this week. What's the next step? To go 3-1? Right? And these Browns fans act like they've been good for 40 years. They take the next step. So they'll be 3-1. How many times have the Browns been 3-1 the last 30 years and ended the year 6-10? It's coming. It's coming. You know. The Browns. I'm tired of it. Darius Vaughn, what's up, my man? Thanks for joining. I heard that Deshaun Watson could hardly throw a ball because of the hit he took when he scrambled. You might be right. You might be right. I mean, Deshaun Watson hadn't looked great. Now, this past game, he looked good. This past game, he looked good. But he hadn't looked great before that. He looked awful, matter of fact. So I hope he feels good, though. I hope he's fine. I don't want anybody being hurt. I don't like that. The Browns need a real QB. Buddy Claybon. Unbelievable. Now, here's a comment I can get behind. Staley is a fraud. Yes. 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 Finally, somebody gets it. Finally, somebody gets it. Brandon Staley is a fraud. Brandon Staley is a fraud. I mean, he's just a horrible football coach. Holding the Chargers back. He's holding them back. Holding them back. Yes. See now, Buddy Claybon, you're starting to learn. You're starting to learn football. You hang around in this chat enough, man. I'll teach you. I'll teach you the ways. I will teach you the ways. What do we got, TikTok? Browns need new owners. You ain't say that again. Say that again. Browns defense is the best in league with Diggs out in Dallas. And we'll see. We'll see. Yes, I watch college football. Somebody asked that question. Yes. The Browns defense is elite and will win and win will put them in the conversation of deep playoff runs. No one thinks the Steelers will win a playoff game this year. Okay. But I know the Browns and the Steelers played. They had a football game that they played against each other. Well, anybody, because I don't want to say it, because remember, y'all call me petty, and I am petty, but so I don't want to do that today. Will somebody, this Super Golden Chris, will somebody remind him who won the football contest between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns? Now, I'm not talking about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I'm talking 2 weeks ago. There was a football game that was played between those two teams. Somebody tell them who won. I don't want to be that guy. So just remind him of who won. Because they'll think bad about me. They'll make fun of me. Niners own the Steelers. Yeah, you whipped us. You whipped us. The Niners are too good. How much longer until Mac Jones and Tannehill get replaced? First of all, I don't know why Basket Case Tannehill still has a job. First of all, you're Tennessee. You drafted a quarterback last year in the 3rd round. Now, granted, he was horrible when he got in there, but apparently he got better over the summer. Then you draft another guy in the 2nd round this year. At what point do you say, we're done with you, Basket Case? We got to move on. They should have been done with him. And as far as Mac Jones, where else are they going to turn? I mean, where are they going to go? They cut the guy who I thought was better than them. I know they signed him back to the practice squad, but Jiminy Christmas. I don't know what's going on in Buffalo, man. I don't know what's going on. Don't know what's going on. Craziness. My man Joe Q. Steelers are the greatest franchise of all time. I mean, now there's more to his statement and more to his question, but I'm going to just take a minute to bask in that. And this is not coming from me. Somebody else is telling you. Steelers are the greatest franchise of all time. But who is second? New England, San Francisco, possibly Green Bay. Food for thought. First of all, I live here in Dallas, so anybody here in Dallas is going to tell you that it's Dallas. I don't think that it's Dallas. I would say San Francisco with the Patriots are probably tied for second. Now Now, Green Bay had a lot of success, but look, Green Bay's success was before they, I'm going to put this lightly, before they allowed everybody to play football. Let's just say that. Before they allowed everybody in the league, they only let select few types of people in the league. Green Bay had a lot of success. Like I said, I'll put it lightly. After that happened, Green Bay didn't have a ton of success. So I don't count Green Bay. It's just like I don't say that Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player of all time. Babe Ruth didn't play against all the greatest baseball players of all time. So you can't be considered the best if you didn't compete against the best. That's just me. That's just me. Do-do, 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 do-do. Do-do. Not much nutrition in that food for thought. San Fran, Green Bay, Dallas, then Pittsburgh. That could be one of the worst statements that somebody's ever made, talking about the best franchise. Because it's the Steelers is one, and I think everybody knows that. But whatever. Whatever. Steelers have the worst offensive coordinator in football at any level. Probably. Probably. And what's going to make me even more mad is when the Steelers win this game and end up 3-1, everybody's going to forget about it. Everybody's going to forget about it. And it's going to make me mad. Because if they have a good offensive game against the Texans, they're going to think, oh, Matt Canada figured it out. No, he didn't. No, the hell he didn't. Doo-doo. Browns are overrated. There's a man that knows a little something. Now, he doesn't know a whole lot because he loves the Raiders and thinks the Raiders are great. My man Dallas, then all of a sudden, he doesn't know too much. Doesn't know too much. But he knows that the Browns are overrated. Blake, what do you got here, my man? Would I rank Travis Kelce as all-time great? He's the second best tight end. I had this conversation with a bunch of people. I like Kelce, but let's just call it what it is. Kelce is a bad blocker. And if all tight ends were bad blockers, then I would say Travis Kelce is the greatest tight end ever. But that ain't the case. Gronk is head and shoulders, body, everything better than Travis Kelce could ever dream of being a blocker. They used to run to Gronk off the edge. Hey, Gronk, set the edge. We're running behind you. They're not doing that with Kelce. Kelce's a backside cutoff guy and does it average at best. Now, is Kelce a better receiving tight end than Gronk? Yes, but it ain't by that much. He's definitely better. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But the difference between Kelce, as far as him being a better receiver versus Gronk being a better blocker, is not that great. The gap between Gronk and Kelce as a blocker is tremendous. Let's just use that word. Tremendous. It's not tremendous the other way around. It isn't. It isn't. That's why I always say Gronk is best. But Kelce's second. He's second. What do we got, TikTok? He ain't pulled Taylor. I don't know what Taylor means. Does Chicago need to pull the plug on Justin Fields? I mean, if they're not going to give him anything, then why not? Why not? If you're not going to give him any more weapons, then you should. No, I think Colorado covers, man. I think Colorado covers. Now here, somebody said Colorado is a fraud. How are they a fraud? Don't you have to be considered good to be a fraud? Or just everybody a fraud? Because if everybody's a fraud, then yeah, they qualify. But because somebody got fooled by the media into thinking that they were good, that would be a you problem. That's a you problem. But student Golden, you have to base it off of Super Bowl wins, and Pittsburgh has won the most. So everybody has to be argued for second. That's a thought. Yeah, see? Fight amongst them. Let them know. I'm not opposed to going back at somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. Get after them. Get after them. It's not just the Steelers because they're tied with New England for the most Super Bowls. But the Steelers have been good for 50 years. I mean, 50 years. So how do you, I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not going to be petty. Not going to be petty. Louisville or Kansas State? Look, people ask me that question all the time. I've been a Louisville fan since the day I was born. Since the day I was born, I've been a Louisville fan. That will never change. And when it came time for me to go play football, I wanted to go to Louisville with all of my might. And then I just thought to myself, okay, what's more important, Brian? Going to play for your dream school and getting your head beat in every week, because at the time, Louisville sucked. They sucked. Or going to a team that plays in, at the time, it was the Big 12, playing against Nebraska. Colorado was good at the time. Texas, Oklahoma, and being one of the better teams in the country. It was an easy choice. So my allegiance, I love them both, but it's Louisville and K-State in that order. It just is. It just is. It was a business decision. And I decided not to go get my head beat in. Even though I love Louisville. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. We covered that. My man, Trayvon, what's going on? What division looks the weakest so far in the NFC and AFC so far? Well, the NFC North looks bad. It looks bad. They got 2 winless teams. So that looks like the worst in the NFC. Everybody thought it was going to be the South, and it may end up being that. But as of right this second, it's the NFC North. And then I don't know about the AFC. I mean, the West. I mean, because you got the Raiders, you got the Broncos, and the Chargers haven't looked great. So I would say the West, because the North is good. The East is good. The South isn't great. It's not great. And maybe it is the South just because the Chiefs are in the West. So maybe it is the South. I'll say the South. Because the Texans and the Titans both stink. The Jags have played horrible. And when the Colts are leading your division and they're not any good, I'll say the South. AFC South. Do-do-do-do. Got time for about 2 more. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Is that Jim Brown? Am I Jim Brown? I come back from the dead? People can be ignorant. Come on, TikTok. Look, I think Texas is going to beat Kansas, but I think Kansas covers. 16.5 is a lot of points. I think Kansas covers. Arkansas, Texas A&M. If Texas A&M is as good as what people are trying to make them out to be, they beat Arkansas. Which means I think Arkansas is going to win because I don't think Texas A&M is any good. Will Colorado get smacked again? Yeah, they're gonna. They're gonna. Do-do-do-do. My man Joe, he is after Super Golden, Chris. What are you basing that off of? Because the Steelers in New England have won the most Super Bowls in history. So that makes San Fran and the rest just second best. 100%. 100%. Sometimes you just got to get after people because they don't know football. They just stir up the controversy, which I like. Petty. "100% fraud of Colorado." I don't understand how Colorado's a fraud. If you're not any good, how are you a fraud? Just if somebody's going to have to explain that to me. You can't be a fraud if you're not good. That doesn't make sense. Do I think Mickey Mantle is better than Babe Ruth? No. No. And even though Mickey Mantle played against some of the best players, no. If Mickey Mantle would have stayed healthy longer, then I think he would have been. But you got to remember, Babe Ruth was a hell of a pitcher, too. Hell of a pitcher. And yes, Mickey Mantle was a much, much better athlete. But I guess the question here is Willie Mays is better than all of them. So there's that. And that's who I think is the best. Look, I think Barry Bonds technically is the best player. But, I mean, although steroids doesn't help you hit a baseball, it doesn't help your hand-eye coordination. It helps you hit it further, but I don't know. But I think Willie Mays and Barry Bonds, I think Mantle is in the top 5. Babe Ruth is in the top 5. So, as far as greatest ever. Hey, man, thank you guys. I'm jumping off here. So, I appreciate everybody that has joined Big B Daily Show, man. Thank you guys. Again, Monday through Friday, we are on 4 p.m. Central Time, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody that has joined the show. Again, on TikTok, please, if you're not following, give me a follow. I'd appreciate it. And then more importantly, jump on over into YouTube, subscribe to Big B Sports Talk, and jump in the chat. Jump in the chat. A lot more interactive over there, man. So I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you. And I will talk to you soon.